Sixer uniform. The star guard has informed the team he will not report to the start of training camp and will never play another game for the 76ers. First things first, co-host Chris Broussard joining us now. Chris, I'm hoping you got the latest. How soon will Simmons be traded, if at all?
Well, let me start with this, Jen. I do think this is the right stance, this hardcore stance for Ben Simmons and his representation to take if they want to get out of Philly. Like, if you're adamant about leaving someplace, we saw with James Harden last year that being Mr. Nice Guy doesn't necessarily work. Remember, Harden was like, look, I'm gonna play, but we'll be working on a trade while I'm playing. First 3 games, he's James Harden, 37 points, 11 assists a game. And they're like taking their time trading him, thinking, okay, he's playing nice, we're cool. And so then he goes comatose for 5 games and plays well below his normal level. And that's when a trade was immediately done. So I think they're taking a page out of that book saying, hey, if we just show up, play, Benning's looking good, the team's looking good, they probably won't trade you. Now, that said, I think Philly's going to match hardball with hardball of their own. And I think this is now a major league game of chicken. Because I think what Philly's going to do is I don't think they're going to trade him immediately. I don't think they're going to trade him before training camp, unless they suddenly get a deal they feel is equitable. But I don't think they're going to trade him just to get rid of the problem. I think they enter the season, Ben is probably on the sidelines, not with the team, and they wait to see what happens with Portland. How do things start with them? Because if it starts badly, maybe all of a sudden Damian Lillard's available. What happens with Washington? They made all these moves in the offseason, but if it starts badly, maybe Bradley Beal's available. Golden State. All right, what if they aren't as good early as they think they'll be? Then maybe they're willing to up the ante and make a better offer for Ben Simmons, not to mention other teams around the league. So I think that is the approach that Philadelphia will take. I also think, and look, they're hoping to get, they think they can still get Ben in training camp and have him play with the team. But I think it'll be interesting if, let's say Ben's on the sidelines, and let's say Philly starts well. Because they still have Joel Embiid, they still have Tobias Harris, Seth Curry came on in the playoffs. Like, they still have some good players. So what if they're really rolling, really playing well? Does that put the pressure on Ben Simmons, and does he start getting antsy and saying, man, let me get back out here and let's see how things can work out? So bottom line, answer the question, Jen, I think it's going to be a while before he gets traded. And both sides are saying they're willing to sit this out for the long haul and see what happens.
I think we all knew after what Doc Rivers said and what Joel Embiid said after that Game 7 loss to the Atlanta Hawks. We all kind of said that we felt it was going this way, because I don't believe you can have a head coach when a reporter asks you, do you believe you can win a championship with Ben as your primary point guard? And you said, I don't know if I can answer that right now. We'll have to see. And Joel Embiid said what he said, that he felt the game swung when we had a layup and we ended up getting a free throw. I was like, it's over. It's over. Doc Rivers has been a head coach entirely too long. Situations like that, you always do the PC, give it coach speak. Oh, look, Ben didn't play as well. None of us played as well as we would have liked to have played. Ben will be just fine. Ben will get back in the gym, do what he needs to do. That's what you say, even though you're like, man, no, deep down inside, no, I don't believe we can. But you don't say that publicly. Once he aired that publicly, it was over. Now, when we look at it, I believe the Sixers are willing to let Ben Simmons take the bad PR hit on this. Chris, I believe over the last several years, we keep hearing Ben Simmons could possibly be traded. Whose team is it, this or that? Ben Simmons believed that you've hitched your wagon to Joel Embiid. You made it abundantly clear to me and all the other people around me and around the league that this is Joel Embiid's team and I'm expendable. Well, since you feel that way, go ahead and expend me. Why am I here? So that's where I am. Now, I wish he would show up. I'm a firm believer, Chris, you know this. I'm a firm believer in being professional. But I'm going to let it be known. Doc, I didn't appreciate what you said, but I'm going to do what you asked me to do. Joel Embiid, don't speak to me. Daryl Morey, you need to get me up out of here. And I'm practicing, Chris, I'm practicing every day in my jersey and jock until they get me up out of there. That's how I'm going to do it.
You want to respond, Chris?
But it's interesting. The question, I just wanted to throw this at you, Shannon. What about what I said? Like, I think that was James Harden's approach.
Yes.
Right? Like, okay, I'm going to play. And, you know, the team, they don't want to trade you in the first place.
Right.
So they're looking at it, well, look, he's here. I mean, okay, he's upset, but maybe over time that'll change.
No.
And we're playing well. You know what I mean? That makes it, I think that could make it less likely that they trade you.
Well, how about they do it like this, Skip? Then I'm going to let you have it. What if they do it like an Andre Drummond situation? We're going to pay you, and we try to find out a scenario to accommodate you. So therefore, hey, don't worry about it. Just sit on the bench like they did Drummond, like they did Blake Griffin, Skip. They're like, look, we're going to pay you. We don't want you to play. Mm-hmm. You want to move in another direction. We're going to try to find someone a suitable trade. Now, we're not trying to give you away, Ben. We want to get something back, although I don't believe you.
I wouldn't pay him.
Oh, yeah, you got to pay me. No, you got to pay me, Chris.
You got 4 years. You got 4. We'll pay you. You got 4 years, $147 million left on your deal. But if you're not showing up ready to play, I can't pay you.
Okay.
That's a long-term deal. That's 4 years.
You want long-term problems?
I'm willing to pay you if you play.
You want long-term problems? That's what I'm going to give you, long-term problems.
That's why I said it. That's why I said this is a game of chicken.
First of all, I am trying to unsee this Jersey jock reference, and it's just stuck in my head like a bad song that I can't get out of my head.
That's all I'm coming to practice, because y'all know, y'all going to say, he crazy for real. He's really doing this every day.
Okay.
Oh, you serious?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, the jersey and jockstrap.
Skip, you can speak to this, Skip. What was Charles Haley doing to get up out of San Francisco? Did it work?
We can't speak of it.
Did it work?
It's unspeakable.
Did it work? Did. Okay, did.
But if we could get graphic enough to detail what he did, it was way beyond jersey and jock.
Exactly. But it worked.
He actually went into the general manager's office.
And did something he had no business doing.
Left something behind.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Chris,
I heard that.
Okay.
I think I've heard that.
Thank you. Next. The more I think about this, the more I believe the Sixers should dig in and say no. Hold feet to fire, call bluff, and say, we have paid you 1 year of $33 million. You owe us 4 more years on this contract. And to the point of Doc, the more I analyze what you said was a bridge burner, like you cannot go back from that statement. Well, Doc could argue, well, I was just talking about point guard. That doesn't mean we can't bring in a primary ball handler and move Ben to one of the forwards, right? He is the primary ball handler. Maybe he's not suited for that.
Right.
But, Chris, what I keep trying to remind Shannon of, this still very young man at age 25, I think he just turned 26 now that I think about it. But again, rookie of the year, all-star, all-star, all-star in his next 3 years. And the last 2 years, first team all-defense. 2 years ago, led the league in steals at 6 feet 10 inches tall. And I keep reminding Shannon of one game. It was just one game, very small sample size, February 13th at Utah, in which without Joel Embiid, because he got angry, did Ben Simmons at Rudy Gobert spouting off about winning Defensive Player of the Year. He said, okay, watch this. And I love Ben when he plays angry. I love LeBron when he plays angry, when he gets a bee in his bonnet, as they say, and he says, okay, watch this. I love LeBron and Ben Simmons as watch this, because they have lower motors for the most part, and Ben's is very even keel, but he got angry and played with some rage that night, and he goes for 42, and he makes 12 of 13 free throws. And every time I try to analyze, break down his free throw stroke, it looks pure to me. It's in his head. He's got demons. He needs to be put on somebody's couch and fixed psychologically, not physically. The stroke is just fine, and I think you think the stroke is fine.
But Skip, he doesn't want to fix it there. But what I tell Chris, but what I keep telling Skip, if you look at Ben Simmons' best games, who hasn't been in the lineup? Joel Embiid. That 42-point night, Joel Embiid didn't play. That 31-point performance that he had against Brooklyn, Joel Embiid didn't play.
All right, I got it. But he is too valuable to give away right now. And right now, you would have no choice but to give him away. You take our problem off. No, you can't do that. You have to say, Ben, you're either going to play this year or you can just go home and sit and watch, and we will take your money because the NBA will say you're suspended, and the Sixers will say we don't have to pay you your $33 million. Right. I believe this game of chicken, and that's exactly what Chris called it this now, and I called it that to open our show. Right. I believe that the Sixers are not going to blink, and I believe they're going to send Ben home if that's where he wants to go, and he can just cool out at home for the whole season if it comes to that.
Well, you going to pay me, Chris. I go home. I go home. Well, you going to pay me?
Yeah, but you're not going to get paid.
Pay him.
No, I got to get that money, though.
They don't pay him.
I got to get that money, Chris.
See, like I said, that's where it comes. And look, Shannon, I get where you're coming. Well, let me address this first, Skip. Their winning percentage, they have shown, I agree with you, Simmons has been great when Embiid's not there, because he can play more in the dunker spot, in the half court, and the lane is open and all that. And that's what a lot of teams that like him around the league are thinking. They're thinking kind of like Giannis. We know they're a little bit different, but you can build around him like Giannis, whereas